another area I'd love to discuss is the CRM your system of record?
Oh, well, Jesus, I mean,
Here
you're
we go.
just buttering that up now. My God, man.
My favorite
Here.
guest. My favorite
Oh,
guest.
Jesus. I mean, man, well, let's do that because I knew Matt would light up. I'm not sure if I shared with him some of our notes. So like we might have actually truly surprised Matt, but this is Matt's favorite topic. Let's talk about, here's the topic. The CRM as the system of record. Is it? Where are we at on that? And well, Nicholas, you start, and then I know Matt's going to jump in. This is
Okay.
We might need 14 hours. Sam, do we have 14 hours of recording? No, we're good. Okay, keep going.
So I would say that all companies I know of would like CRM to be the system of record. And they are trying to do it. And I think in the last couple of years, we've seen some crack and we've seen some changes. So let's first step back, because the reality, and I'm an old fart, CRM is a database with no admin. So even in large companies, and sometimes I do a project with large companies, I am literally astonished how poor the control is on this database that is inside of CRM and all the consistency it will create. So it's a very rigid data model. We have leads, contact, account, opportunities.
Yeah.
And when you look about it, it triggered generation of true categories. I mean, marketing automation was marketers, and I've been a marketer many decades. I mean, it was so hard to do it with two objects. And marketing automation just say there's one object, it's a person. When you look at the 6 Sense demand base, ABM of the world, it's built around an account. And now, so you have generation of system, PLG, at a short life for now, it's the same thing. So you have generation of ancillary systems that are getting created to offset the rigid data model. And I think what was the straw that broke the camel's back is unstructured data. All what we discuss is about using AI to make sense not just of transactional data, but unstructured data. And you cannot have
transaction mentioned
recordings, you cannot have emails, all that stuff in a CRM. So that's how things started to crack. And I mentioned as well that every time there was a new motion or it was difficult to use technology for motion, we created new systems of records. So, Matt, do you use an ABM platform?
No.
Do you use a marketing automation platform?
A little bit.
Okay, so you would do it yourself, so you avoided that. But I run into companies that have all those systems, and they're all there, they're synchronized, and I think everybody's trying to put back the information into Salesforce.
Yeah.
But when you look from a reporting standpoint, you have less and less information. And think about the reinvention of forecasting with revenue intelligence. It's a new system that you overlay on top of those systems to do forecasting. So the first trend I saw was the decoupling of instrumentation from the actual systems. So to some extent, revenue intelligence is that, and there are other categories that end up doing that. So you take for as a fact of life that you have multiple systems, and you basically suck the information into, back to your point, Matt, it's a modern data, a modern data architecture. You bring all this information, you do the correlation, and then you can overlay on that, on this instrumentation, your model. So forecasting was one of the early use cases. You can do it as well for coaching and development of people. Like, it doesn't stop there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the things I start to see now is the decoupling of the customer database. And that one is emerging, so very hard to figure out. But large companies, I mean, think of banks, have started 5, 6, 7 years ago to build massive data warehouses. And they basically suck all the information, they build pipes, they have to instrument this entire data stack to deal with compliance.
Yep.
And they create this platform and then they pile up. I mean, I know banks, they have 300-400 data scientists.
Sure.
Which when you think about it, a bank is all about information. Now you have the movement in the marketing space of CDPs. And CDPs have started to move into other part of the organization. And I start to see now commercial products that are basically going to assemble in a flexible data model your customer and prospect view, and it's going to simplify how you engage.
Yep.
And there's two types of products. There's the pure, provide the data infrastructure, and some also source some of the data. So without, it's always tough not to mention all the companies that are innovative, but a Matkudu company was initially scoring, and now you buy a MIDI CDP with built-in sources.
Yeah.
So I forgot, I think they have HG Insight for technographic, they have something else for the account. So they have a third for job changes. So you have those different types of products that are kind of emerging. And I think you really want to challenge is your CRM, the system of record, because all what I described are key issues of practitioners, whether marketers, anyone in the revenue organization. And also with the new heart of the possible with modern data architectures and AI. And the two comes side by side, right?
Yeah.
Together. Yeah.
My
Matt,
reaction is I feel very similar. The things that I will say is the CRM, I believe, will largely always be the system of record for salespeople, right? That is, for businesses historically, that's been, everything sales related has happened there. And then anybody who wanted to use that data for marketing, for finance, for operations has sort of had to sort of peer into that platform. The same has been true for CDP, which has been this database of record for marketers. And then, you have ERP for finance, et cetera. And you have all these different places where data is being stored and you're trying to keep it all up to speed and together. And then the compliance and regulation issues around like, how is this data transferred from place to place? Are there potentials for breach, et cetera? And this is the reason why I think, the center of gravity is moving towards a cloud data warehouse, because using modern data architecture or a modern data stack, you have the ability to make that your centralized repository that feeds into every single other place within your business. And I mean department when I say place. You can, your finance team can use it, your marketing team can use it, your operations team can use it, sales can use it, even HR can be using it. And so I believe that I don't believe CRM's going anywhere, but in terms of it being a centralized database for everything that you have from like a customer 360 perspective, no way. It wasn't built for that in the first place. Why was CRM built? CRM was built because we had salespeople that were taking people out to golf and traveling all over the country, and we needed a place to store all that information around their interactions. And what we've tried to do is mold it into, the central hub of a business, right? The heartbeat of a business. It was never designed that way. And if you think about just like from the simplest perspective, what a cloud data warehouse can hold on an individual versus what Salesforce can hold on an individual in terms of just like rows of data. What are we capturing in CRM on a person? Their name, their email, their job title, maybe an address, maybe some engagement data. But in a cloud data warehouse, it's like, infinite number of rows of data that we can store on this person. So the CRM is just not built to house all the information that we can capture on people. And I don't just mean data that we would need in order to market or sell to them more effectively, but data we would need to bill them, data we would need if they're somebody that we wanted to recruit to become our next employee, et cetera. And that's why I believe the warehouse is going to become the center of the universe. It's cheaper, it's faster, it's infinitely more flexible. The problem that exists today with the cloud data warehouse and why it's not already everybody's center of the universe is it doesn't have UX for people who are not data professionals. So if you are a salesperson and you're like, cool, I'm going to go grab some data out of my Snowflake, you're not. You're going to be met with an interface that you're just not familiar with and you don't know how to manipulate. The same is true for anybody else on the business side of the house. So when we talk about a modern data architecture or a modern data stack, it is the things that get built around the warehouse that enable us to add as much data to it as we possibly can, build models on that data, normalize that data so it can go in cleanly, and then activate the data so that we can put it into places that we're all used to using, whether that's a CRM, a marketing automation system, or a sales engagement platform, or ad network, or if you have direct mail, your Sendoso or your Reach Desk or whatever. That is the way the game is going, and I think we're sitting here right at the precipice of that. But I expect over the course of the next 10 years that that's going to become the standard by which most companies operate.
So two comments to continue iterate and riff, and I love the brainstorming. So if you go back to the original promise of CRM, it was to build a single repository of all the information. And I want to be prudent because it's super hard. So, and even large companies that have invested in building massive data warehouse are start to see popping different warehouses. So in the early days of data warehouses, you had data marts and data warehouse. So data mart was the name given to those ancillary or those more specialized data warehouses that were built. So that's something I felt compelled to share. The second thing is, yes, it's a key issue of querying the data warehouse. Now, a technology that is making tremendous progress is conversational AI.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And with Gen AI, you can actually query the data. You can address things. I mean, the data models are so complicated. So the problem is you don't even know how to ask a question, right? Because we're talking academically. But if you lift the hood of a data warehouse, it is scary. And really understanding what is this data, how it was built, what does it mean is super hard.
Yeah.
So I think this is where there's no other way than to embrace conversational AI and to have the queries, whether it's, I would say, transactional, like about a customer, or it's more something for you, for example, as a CMO, you want to make sense, what working with a program, what's not, all these type of things.